Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Double Bond podcast. ये episode 16 होगा. This is a brand new type of setup, I would say. हम लोग जो normally podcast करते हैं वो single mic, single sub से करते हैं. आज 3 angles के साथ दो mics है. And मैं आपका host पाई, ये Sigma मेरे साथ and फाइनली आधे घंटे से हम लोग ट्राई कर रहे गाइस. सो ओके, ट्रेडिशनल फॉर्म्स ऑफ पॉडकास्ट गेम माचदानी, वेलकम बैक टू अनदर एपिसोड. आज का टॉपिक इससे कल रात जैसे तुम लोगों ने 14th या 15th एपिसोड में देखा होगा, इसने मुझे बताया बट आई कांट बी आस्क्ड टू रिमेंबर व्हाट यू टोल्ड अस अ पॉडकास्ट टॉपिक. सो गो ऑन.
आजकल बहुत जय शेट्टी के मतलब पॉडकास्ट सुनने लगा हो, तो आई थॉट अगर उसने किया तो हम भी कर देंगे. हाउ टू बिकम अ बेटर पर्सन.
क्या टॉपिक है?
वही है टॉपिक, हाउ टू बिकम अ बेटर पर्सन.
ओके,
मतलब देयर आर डिफरेंट स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ बीइंग अ बेटर पर्सन.
yeah.
अगर तुम सोचो तो मतलब यू नो देयर आर सम पीपल हु आर वेरी नार्सिसिस्टिक अननोइंगली, बिकॉज उनके कुछ क्वालिटीज होता है.
Yeah.
एंड वो आई थिंक वी शुड डिस्कस अबाउट, बिकॉज मैं एक पॉइंट पे बहुत नार्सिसिस्टिक था विदाउट माय ओन नॉलेज.
So basically, from self-love and all that, we are going into self-help now.
आई मीन या मतलब देखो भाई, यू नो देयर इज अ वेरी ह्यूज डिफरेंस बिटवीन self love and narcissism. As self love becomes way more uncontrollable, it becomes narcissism, which is not really good.
Yeah.
तुम चूतिए लगने लगते हो.
Okay. Bold statements there by Sigma. मुझे पता नहीं इस टॉपिक के बारे में क्या बात कर रही है.
Okay, let's set some ground rules.
Yeah.
What is self love?
Basically, self-love is, there are two forms. Okay, there are two forms. Form 1 is the form where कि तुम्हें पूरी like दुनिया से, पूरी universe से, you don't have anything to do with it. You select to take a different path. Obviously, the path isn't a discovery. It's a new path for your own being, and that is a solo path.
Okay.
So that is one part कि मुझे इस कायनात से कुछ नहीं करना, तो मैं सेल्फ लव के इस जर्नी पे जाने वाला हूँ. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू लेट एनीवन control my feelings, emotions, life as much as people would. And then there's the second part which मैं भूल गया. Okay. Second part is that situation wise, situations ऐसी बन सकती है जिससे you get to a point where your mindset or your heart says that कि क्या ही करना है. At one point all of us have experienced the same point कि एक point of क्या बोलते हैं उसे, I'm not getting the words. Vocabulary. After one point in time, you decide, you feel like कि क्या ही करना है, पैसे कमा के क्या करना है, प्यार कमा के क्या करना है. That is the second type of self-love. तो मुझे लगता है somewhere or the other, both are connected, obviously.
Okay.
But the first one is way simpler and way effective compared to the second one. Because second one you're like, हाँ ठीक है, मुझे पता है कि दुनिया ऐसी चलती है, प्रैक्टिकलिटी पे दुनिया चलती है and all that. But then after a point you just stop talking to people. You just are alone. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But then after a point you just have that sense of weirdness creeping into you. So every time you go talk to a new person, your mindset is like कि मैं इससे बात करूँगा, so will it be beneficial for me or will it drag me down the same aisle of self-love or the way I was thinking when I got into self-love.
Okay.
But the first part is way easier because you know what you're doing and you know where you're dragging yourself into. What do you think?
I mean, I would surely agree with all the things you said right now, but मेरे केस में self love थोड़ा अलग है. You know, self love, I think, you know, देखो भाई, starting of self love, you know, when you're not mature so much.
Yeah.
So basically तब तुम self love पे उतना focus नहीं करोगे, because you will just be going with the flow. And at after a point, जब कोई emotional breakdown आता है, be it from any side of or any type of people in your life, I think that time you actually have to focus on recovery, which is a path of self love.
Yeah.
Recovery through emotional breakdowns is always a path of self love.
Definitely.
Rediscovering yourself.
Yes.
एंड समटाइम्स उस पाथ पे लोग इतने स्ट्रेस करने लगते हैं, एट वन पॉइंट द ओनली पीपल लेफ्ट फॉर देमसेल्व्स इज देमसेल्व्स, एंड दे आर अनेबल टू गेट आउट ऑफ दैट बबल अगेन. दे आर गेटिंग एडिक्टेड टू द पाथ ऑफ सेल्फ लव, जो बहुत सारे लोग उस केस में नार्सिसिस्टिक बनने लग रहे हैं.
Exactly.
Because people who are extroverts go on a journey of self love, and if by chance they get addicted to that self love, in some cases they just might react with a very narcissistic behavior, which is not really good.
Yeah.
Anything in this world addictive is not, getting addicted to it is not wrong, be it self love or be it anything. क्योंकि self love एक point पे, you know, it starts to feel like I just love myself.
Yeah.
I love my things, I love myself. What about others?
Exactly.
उस point पे you have to start thinking about others also, because when you, what I think is, when you care about others, when you care about yourself, and when you care about everyone including yourself,
Yeah.
on the parallel ways, is when you're becoming a better person, is when you're actually healing.
I think self-love is a kind of a selfish thing. It's a very selfish thing to do. When you think about it, right? जब तुम self-love के path पे जाते हो, obviously everyone goes on that path. If you have been there, everyone goes on that path to become a better self. But then it has its pros and cons, and mostly the cons outweigh the pros. यहाँ पे like it's like talking about not giving a fuck about anyone else and only thinking about yourself. It's I would say it's very, very selfish.
I mean, like, depends from person to person, because अगर इस बंदे का मतलब होता है self love का definition, I should only think about myself, about things what I love, about paths what I love, then एक point पे आके if he continues thinking like that, then it is going to be bad. But लोगों के understanding एक एक चीज के बारे में अलग रहते हैं, तो you can't obviously say कि तेरा self love का method अलग है,
हाँ,
या
true.
गलत है.
True. भाई self love, तुम लोगों को अगर you guys get into self love, always have this plan B, or say a person. It can be a person, it can be a plan, to get yourself in and out. Like it's not कि हाँ self love में जाना है, condition wise, situation wise जा चुके हो तुम लोग, but बाहर निकलने के लिए you always need that one person, one friend, or some kind of a plan जो कि distract कर सके तुम्हें, and you may get out of the whole situation instead of just plummeting down the path of self-love. I'm not saying it's bad, but it might turn up bad.
Might, yeah, I won't say.
Yeah.
Because like I believe anything good to the uttermost point and after it would turn out bad, be it water or anything.
Exactly.
After a limit, things can turn out bad, be it even good, be it even love.
Exactly. So, because we are talking about self-love, why not we bring in anxiety and depression?
हाँ,
Both,
okay.
all three are kind of similar topics.
मतलब, you know, एक point पे सब interrelate होते हैं, mental health पे.
Exactly. So why not we label this episode as the mental health episode?
Okay.
And first topic was self-love. So depression जो होता है, जो if you guys are going through it, we are very, very sorry for it. I know it's a very bad place to be in. I know you can't, you know, जैसे कि मैंने कल जब सिग्मा ने मुझे कॉल किया और इस टॉपिक के बारे में बताया, he also added this one thing about depression. It was like, if a person is depressed and you go talk to him, you're either making it worse for him or you're just diverting it for him. and which made very much sense for me. But बात तो सही है, like it makes sense. It's not like, you know, depressed रहना is very horrible for your mental health, and most successful people, like people might think कि, you know, depression gets cured by money and monetary values and, you know, all these materialistic things. नहीं है. Why would Virat Kohli, the biggest cricketer of India now, the third biggest sportsman in the planet, why would he come out and talk about all the hard years he has been through? Because mental health सबकी होती है और at one point सबकी लग जाती है उसमें.
And until what I believe, जैसे मैंने बोला था इसको कि like, you know, I feel like for a super mature person who has actually taken stuff to his heart and is in depression maybe because of a breakup or some losing a favorite person in his life or relative, parents, anything, ठीक है, उस बंदे को या उस बंदी को you can't actually, you know, take off because देखो भाई, at one point, okay, he or she is depressed, you go to him or you go to her, you start advising. The basic human character is, yeah, you see a person not in a good state, you analyze the situation and you start to advise, you start to give them suggestions. वो तुम्हारे साइड से लॉजिकल हो सकता है, उनके सिचुएशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी लॉजिकल हो सकता है, बट इज दैट पर्सन एक्चुअली रेडी टू टेक एन एडवाइस सजेशन बाय दैट टाइम? मे बी यस, मे बी नॉट. एंड अगर तुम सजेशन देते हो उस बंदे को और बंदे को कुछ अलग समझ आ जाता है, इट इज जस्ट मेकिंग इट वर्स. फर्स्ट केस. सेकेंड केस, यू आर जस्ट डाइवर्टिंग हिम. Because at the end of the day, you know, you're just being a diversion. Because I have helped friends through breakup.
Yeah.
One of my friend, मेरे college में, I still remember that she was having a breakup, and whatever I would do, whatever I would tell her, you know, go out, spend time with her, कि saying कुछ नहीं है, you will find better people and all that.
Yeah.
But she keeps coming on telling me 2 to 3 days later that she feels like dying and all that. Then I realized कि there is no point of me doing so much. मैं बस उसको divert कर रहा हूँ. I'm just diverting her from that point of her being sad. क्योंकि दिमाग में रह जाती है. It's something which hit your heart.
Yeah.
And whatever stays in your heart, you can never forget. It's very impossible to forget. You might just play up an act कि यार भूल चुका हूँ, but it never goes. It's in you.
Now, self-love जो है वो शायद it's connected with depression because of this. Because of when a person is say depressed and he isn't ready to take in advices. And people just bombard him with advices or him or her with advices. तब I think that is the क्या बोलते हैं, it has the most significant ratio from changing a good person to a depressed person to a person who is depending upon self-love. And मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि ये जो relationship के जो चोचले चल रहे हैं, situationship, relationship, whatever you may call it, these things mainly like count for a huge part of, you know, self-love and depression वाले जो paths choose करते हैं लोग. These things are blamable. You know what I mean? Like you can blame, like literally तू blame कर सकता है कि मेरी girlfriend मुझे छोड़ के चली गई, मैं depression में चला गया. Now the second part is that you have to say work for your family or you have to study for your family, and you don't want to do that, but you have to do that because maybe financial situations might not be right in your family. That is, I'd say, only 30% of people who transition from being okay to depressed to self-love. That is only 30%. But ये जो 60% है वो relationship की वजह से आजकल की दुनिया में. And trust me guys, stay single, stay focused, career बनाओ, simple बात है.
I mean, like, you know, I've seen people, this thing is very specific. It has, like, you know, a proper thing which you guys should know. Okay? When you're on the path of self-love and all that, for example, be it कि किसी ने तुझे धोखा दे दिया, किसी ने तुझे धोखा दे दिया, ब्रेकअप हो गया, whatever, ठीक है, always remember that hating some other person's love for you is never a way of self recovery. You are just cheating your way into hating that person so that you can love yourself. So basically you are just cheating yourself into self love कि हाँ भैंचो उसने कुछ किया है मेरे मतलब मुझे, तो अब मैं अपने आप को प्यार करूंगी क्योंकि वो बंदा या वो बंदी मुझे सही से लव नहीं करती.
See again, self love and self hatred दोनों एक दूसरे से इतने कोरिलेटेड है. जो अभी तूने पॉइंट बताया कि उसने अगर कुछ किया मेरे लिए तो मैं खुद पे कुछ करूंगा. That is a very flammable topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you are madly in love and then they leave and you are तेरी दुनिया जल गई है. जलने के बाद they obviously want better for you. Obviously, that's why they left you in the first place. But when they leave you, you don't have that mindset of कि हाँ, they might have left me for a better person. Like मैं better बन सकूँ इसीलिए वो छोड़ के चली गई या वो छोड़ के चला गया. And that after that point is when you decide actually whether you want to be depressed, whether you want to be sad, whether you want self-hatred or whether you want self-love. And trust me, not caring about these inner feelings, like वो होता है ना दिल और दिमाग का connection, वो इस point पे I think you should cut it. Because when you cut it, your heart doesn't communicate with what your brain is telling you to do, and your brain isn't communicating what your heart, how your heart is broken.
Yeah.
So if your heart is broken, your brain will tell you 25 different things, which will all be against self-love and self-hatred. So cut that at that point and just stay in the flow. Don't think about it, and you will get out of it. गारंटी हमारी है, बिकॉज हम दोनों एक एक टाइम पे आइदर सेल्फ लव या तो डिप्रेशन में जा चुके हैं. तो
I mean like this is kind of a funny thing, okay?
Yeah.
My self love is basically me having a lot of hair on me. That's basically it. I have a lot of hair on my head. Yeah.
लड़कों का वैसे होता है. लड़कों का it's very simple. Men are simple. And इसीलिए like guys, even if you're facing any issues with, you know, depression, anxiety, पढ़ाई नहीं हो रही, how will I take care of my parents and all that, don't worry, हो जाएगा. I'm not saying कि हमारा we have achieved everything in the world and we have like, you know, हम जीत चुके हैं in life, but it will happen. Whatever is supposed to happen, it will happen. So this is the first non-edited, I mean angles के साथ तो आएगा, उतना edit करेंगे और background में music रहेगा, but
very mild music, serious,
very serious music and very mild music, because this is the first episode which we have taken in one single cut. No 600 कट बीच में. डायरेक्ट 18 मिनट का वीडियो बन चुका है. एंड I hopefully think you like the video. Like, share, subscribe, comment करना, and peace off.
Fuck off.
We'll see you next week with a better and bigger episode. We'll be wearing the same dresses cause Gareeb hai.
Okay.
Like, I mean, subscribe over here. Bye.